Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am Carol Williams, and we are back with another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So, the first thing I want to talk to y'all about this morning is the public charge rule. So, from the first Trump administration to this one with Biden in the middle, we've seen sort of a back and forth, a bit of a ping pong with how the public charge rule has been treated and the, discretion that the officers have when they're adjudicating green card applications. So, super high level in general, the public charge rule essentially says, and essentially looks at when someone is applying for a green card, the public charge rule looks at whether or not that person is likely to become a public charge, whether or not they are likely to apply for and receive and or need public benefits from the government. And if they are, then their green card application can be denied. That's sort of the long and the short of the public charge rule. That's how I describe it. That's how I explain it and describe it to my clients. So, there's been a bit of a ping pong back and forth for years now. The pendulum has now swung in a different direction. This current administration has sort of said, I don't like what the previous administration did. I want to go back to what I did during my first administration. This new public charge rule allows the officer to have much more discretion in terms of what they look at when they are determining whether or not an applicant for their adjustment of status or their green card, using those terms interchangeably, whether or not that individual will become a public charge, meaning will they apply for and use public benefits. So it will be has the potential to be much more restrictive than it has been. The new rule will take effect September 18th of this year. Again, the new rule will take effect September 18th of this year. They have also let us know that there will be a new Form 485 that we will need to use. During the first administration, there was a new form introduced. It asked for a lot of personal financial information. While I haven't seen the new form yet, I suspect it will look somewhat like the previous form that we had. So it asked for a lot of personal information, a lot of personal financial information to, again, determine whether or not this person who is applying for a green card would need and or apply for and receive government benefits. So we will get more information on that. Same thing that happened last time. Again, this public charge issue has been a bit of a ping pong back and forth between the different administrations when they're in office. So I'll keep you updated on that, but we will have a new form probably roughly around September 18th when this new rule comes into effect. So I wanted to let y'all know that. The next big thing that happened last week as well was a new published rule for students, for international students, and for members of the press. Oftentimes, sort of the members of the press are lumped in with students when it comes to their ability to remain in the U.S. and how their status is written. Just a little odd, but I won't go into sort of all the background as to why students and international press are sort of lumped together sometimes. But in general, there's a new rule. It will take effect September 15th of this year. And one of the major things that this new rule does is it changes the expiration date on the I-94 card for foreign students who are an F, J, and members of the international press. Currently, their expiration date is D as in David / S as in Sam. Means duration of stay. Some people sometimes also call it duration of status. And essentially what it means is that you don't have to apply for an extension with USCIS, if you are wanting to extend your stay, if you are wanting to apply for another university program, if let's say you start off as a bachelor's degree, then you switch to your master's degree, but you don't leave the US in the interim, you sort of kind of work all that through the school, and you maintain your status, right? But there is no date specific on either in your passport or on that I-94 card that says the date that you must leave. That has been very helpful for students who want to stay in the US, they want to get a second or third degree. It is also very helpful, it has been very helpful for members of the international press. Members of the international press, news moves at a very quick pace. So if something happens, let's say on day one, you enter the US, we don't know whether that thing that you're coming to report is going to end on day 5, day 20, day 25, day 35, whatever. And so D/S for members of the foreign media has allowed them to stay for the length of time that their reporting outlet, their employer needs them to be in the US to cover a specific happening, what have you, and then they leave. The rule, again, that will be implemented September 15th, essentially says we're doing away with that. We're doing away with the flexibility, and you will be stamped in and allowed in for a specific amount of time. So instead of now saying D as in David / S as in Sam, it will now have a specific date like other non-immigrant / temporary visa categories. So if you're a student and you're coming in for a 4-year degree, it may in fact only allow you to stay in maybe 4.5 years, right? It may even stamp you in for a shorter amount of time. So what that means is that like other non-immigrant visa categories, if you wish to remain in the US, you will either have to file an extension of stay if you are in the US and ask for another specific date, or you will have to leave the US and then you can apply for another visa overseas that will allow you a longer stay. So that is a huge change for our international students under F&J, as well as our international media press representatives. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. That was dropped on us late last week. So I wanted to let you guys know about that. And the last thing I want to talk about this morning is H-1B cap season is officially done. USCIS posted a notice on their website that said that they had enough applications that would satisfy the regular cap as well as the master's cap. So if you were not selected and you were hoping for a second lottery for this fiscal year, that is not going to happen. They're not going to be running a second lottery. And so now is absolutely the time to pull the trigger on whatever your plan B is to the H-1B lottery for this fiscal year. If you have any questions about your plan B for H-1B lottery, your duration of stay and what that means for you and your own particular circumstance, as well as public charge, feel free to reach out. We are happy to help. We can see how we can help you. But that's all I got for this Monday morning. Have a great rest of your Monday and a great